Very important. How often should folks update their will, Deirdre?
People should take out their will and look at it at least on an annual or every couple of years. If they have life-changing events, such as a marriage, a divorce, the birth of minor children, or maybe they have minor children and they all become adults, or they inherit property, they receive property that they didn't expect, then they certainly should sit down and look at it and decide whether what they have suits their current situation, and if not, they need to update their will.
Good point. And so oftentimes, and again, turning to, you can do research on the internet, for instance, to find out about good legal professionals that really specialize in an area. I think I used the internet to find out about an irrevocable life insurance trust, which is a vehicle actually someone in your former law firm, Eddie Bowers, helped me craft and did some great work on, and he and Claudia, that whole crew. It's amazing how something like that can really make you think not only about your own life, but obviously about your death, about your family, and about your children, and really some big issues that come up. What about, how long would it take someone to, do you say, probate your estate? Or how long does that happen on average?
On average, it's going to take about 8 or 9 months.
Is that right?
Now, that's on average. I mean, and that's for a relatively simple estate that is uncontested, that we go through the creditor's claim period, which is an 8-month period. You may have estates that have contested issues, they have people fighting over the will, or they have claims that creditors file, and you have to dispose of those claims. Many estates are going to take a lot longer. On average, if it's uncontested and you don't have a lot of claims that you're going to have to deal with, and everybody gets along, then you're looking at probably 9 to 10 months on average.
Does that happen pretty regularly?
Well, you know, we have a lot of estates open in Horry County. We have many people that are relocating to this area, and we open many, many estates. The percentage of those that just go through without any problem is probably at least half of them.
Is that right? Good.
Yeah,
good.
I think so. I think so. But then we have others that there's fighting among family members, or you have third parties coming in fighting over the estate.
Right.
Or maybe the person was involved in litigation even before they died.
Oh, boy.
Or there's litigation as a result of the death. So we do have quite a few estates that end up taking much longer because of the litigation. Or maybe you have an estate that's quite a large estate that is a taxable estate. If you have a taxable estate, you're not going to be able to close it until you file the estate tax return, and then the IRS signs off on the return. They approve your return. So you're probably talking at least 2 or 3 years on a taxable estate.
The IRS and the State Department of Revenue oftentimes interface with your office a good bit.
Yes, they do.
What's the longest amount of time that you've seen, or have you ever heard of instances of an estate remaining open?
We have a couple of estates that have been open for 20 or 30 years.
Is that right? Now, how would that happen?
Well, the way that has happened, that I have found out, is before we adopted the Uniform Probate Code, which was adopted by our legislature in 1987, estates did not sometimes formally close by the court. And so the families will come in now, and we will see that we never issued an order closing the estate because they didn't have necessarily those forms, and maybe there wasn't an order discharging or letters discharging the administrator. And so we try to go back to those old estates. They want to come in and do something. You know, we have a lot of people that go through the heirs property where someone died and they never came in and probated the estate. You used to not do deeds of distribution, which you do now. And oftentimes people want those deeds of distribution now. So they may come into an estate that wasn't officially closed or formally closed and want to do something else in that estate. We try to tie those things up and then try to get those estates closed. You have a lot of the tobacco allotments that go through estates. And they oftentimes want something from the probate court to determine who the heirs are of this old estate where the person died 30 or 40 years ago. And we try to work those out with the family members.
Fascinating, yes, that would be. And thinking about the complexity of a large estate and trying to close it up, or but the estate can never operate like, I mean, there must be, as you think, the executor or the personal representative there being able to do things to go, like to essentially act as if the person's still alive. I guess there's certain aspects where they have to do things if there are liabilities out there to help slowly pay them off, or if they're long mortgages or very sizable companies.
We actually have a couple of estates that were large estates, very taxable estates, and they entered into long-term agreements with the Internal Revenue Service to pay the taxes over 10 or 15 years. those estates have to stay open
Yeah.
until they pay those liabilities.
Yes.
Sometimes you will have estates that will enter into agreements like that or need to stay open.
Right, right.
Because of circumstances such as that.
That is very interesting. We just got about 5 minutes, Deirdre, and I was thinking there's so many things going on in the probate court recently. You all have had some great additions, I believe.
We
You
have.
highlighted those. Share with
Yes.
viewers some of the things going on in the probate court.
2 weeks ago, our newest associate judge was sworn in, Dundee Carter. She is an attorney from the area, and she was brought on as a new associate judge. We have another associate judge, Kathy Ward, that has been with the court for many, many years.
Great.
And so now we have some additional help in the probate court with the new associate judge.
Good.
Judge Carter is now there to help us out with a lot of the litigation that is going on in our probate court. We also have a probate court advisory committee
Okay.
that I formed back in January of 2003.
Great.
when
What
I
prompted
first
that?
became- Well, what prompted that was the need to bring members of the community, members of the local bar, trust officers, people with the Department of Mental Health, Alcohol Commission, to help us sit down with the probate court. I don't think I can think of all the good things to do in the probate court.
Right.
And I know there are a lot of people in the community that are interested in the probate court and can bring good ideas to the court to help us make the court better. So I formed an advisory committee in January of 2003.
Right.
And we meet periodically and we talk about what we're doing in the court and how we can make the court better. And the advisory committee is now working on a continuing legal education seminar for the local bar here in Horry County.
Oh, exciting. Yes.
Yeah, this will be our first, and it's going to be on June the 1st. And we're going to go for half a day, and we're going to offer CLE credits to the local
Right.
attorneys. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's going to be an annual event.
I'm sure. You said June 1st. This will only be open to local members of the bar.
It will be, but I guess anybody could register if they wanted to and come
bet.
learn a little bit more about probate.
A great opportunity, and I'm sure a
Yes.
lot of attorneys really want to hone up their skills, but the public would probably be thrilled. If they were interested in that, they could visit the HorryCounty.org,
They could do that, or they could call the office.
the 915-5370 number.
5370.
That's
Yes.
great. You know, we think about so many activities that happen, and you've highlighted some of those. What are some of the other things? I noticed involuntary commitments, probably something that a lot of people don't think would go in front of the probate court. What exactly, how does that happen?
You know, just last week they had the awful tragedy at Virginia Tech.
Oh, yeah.
And what was on the news after that, within a couple of days, was the fact that this young gentleman had been committed.
Right.
That is a procedure we do in our probate court. We can commit a person who is mentally ill or has an addiction to alcohol or drugs. And it is through the court proceeding that the family can come in and we can court order a person either for inpatient treatment
Right.
or for outpatient treatment based on a mental illness or some type of an addiction. And we do that daily.
Is that right?
We are extremely busy in Horry County
Oh,
with
that's
commitment
terrible.
procedures. It is terrible. There are so many families affected. It crosses all socioeconomic paths of people. Many people are faced with addictions and they're faced with mental illness. And the probate court is there to try to help the people get treatment for their family member.
Right, right. Marriage licenses also come through y'all.
We're extremely busy with marriage licenses. So many people want to come to the beach to get married.
Yeah.
One of the things that we have offered since I became probate judge is we have the application on our website.
Right.
And we allow people to mail in that application and then just come down and pick up the license.
Right.
And we issue anywhere from 250 to 350 marriage licenses a month.
Is
through our
that
probate.
right?
Yes, we do.
Melanie Huggins was with us a couple weeks ago. It seems like there was something in her office that deals with marriage licenses as well.
Well, she does passports there.
Okay,
and
passports
so they've
there, but
gotten
marriage licenses really come through y'all.
through the probate court. Yes.
That's fascinating. Yes, maybe I was
Yes.
thinking of passports. You know, and there are some great countywide elected officers. We've been blessed over the last, 3 or 4 months to have had Sheriff Thompson, now yourself, and of
Yes.
course Lois Hergel, and Roddy Dickinson and Melanie Huggins, 5 or 6 of the countywide elected. Do y'all get together on a regular basis with folks, peers throughout the state, your other probate court judges
Yeah.
around the state?
The probate judges, we have an association, a statewide association that has been in effect for over 50 years.
Right.
And we meet at least twice a year for annual conferences.
Good.
And we do our continuing legal education. And then we also have a staff seminar that the probate judges put on once a year. That will be coming up next month.
Good.
Where I will take most of the probate court staff to Columbia
Okay.
for staff training that's put on by the Probate Judges Association. is a great networking, and it's a great avenue to see what other counties are doing and make sure that we're trying to work together to make the probate courts better for the state.
That's wonderful, Deirdre. It's so critical
Good
to have an
opportunity.
idea of what's happening around the state.
Yes.
And what other folks, other countywide elected officers. Now, in probate court, judges are elected in every county statewide.
That's right. That's right. We're the only publicly elected judges in South Carolina. All of the other judges are appointed or elected by our legislature, but we are elected by the residents of our county.
Well, that must be a big challenge in and of itself. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but I'll look forward to getting you back another time to talk about what that's like, running for office.
Be happy to.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with the Honorable Deirdre Edmonds coming up next.
Babies are in.
You might have some good questions. They might even be frequently asked questions. Some of those questions are online. I had a will drawn up. What do I do with it? Do I need to file in your office? What are some of the documents I might need to be prepared for probate court down the road? These are great questions. You need to take the time, go online, horrycounty.org/probate court. You can also call the number. You heard Deirdre say it, 843-915-5370. There's probably other questions that aren't online. You need to take the time to call. We didn't have a chance to talk to Deirdre about her husband, Wayman, of almost 17 years now. Their twin daughters, Catherine and Jessie, and their youngest daughter, Aubrey. The excitement there, or their other daughter, Aubrey, the excitement there of being able to be involved not only in the community, serving as Horry County's probate judge, but remaining active with her own family here in Horry County. It's amazing, as she talked about having known her husband, Wayman, for as long as they have, and their marriage here of 17 years. It really is exciting. If you didn't have the chance to be with us the last 30 minutes, you can meet her online by visiting horrycounty.org.